the street one day. Walking down the street one day. Met a total stranger. He asked me what I wanted to be. Airborne Ranger. Oh, 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 Sharpening my knife. Up jumped the enemy. I had to take his life. Oh, oh, oh. Rangers. My buddy's in a foxhole. Bullet in his head. Daddy says he's wounded. But I know that he's dead. Oh, 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 oh.
What's up? What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. This another edition of Q Wilson's podcast. Now we are having our part two, and I'm introducing my special guest of the hour. Is coming back, Miss Korrtni Scheffey, aka Smith. Now let me add her to the chat. Let's see what she's at.
Hey y'all.
I hope you like that little introduction. I got something different I'm doing, you know.
I like it. I'm good with it. But it's correction on the pronunciation. It's Scheffey.
Scheffey. Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Welcome back. I know I said I was going to do a part two. As popular demand, people did ask about you. And I was like, "What you?"
Oh, really?
Yeah, they was like, they like you. They liked you so much that I had to put you as my homepage screen. So every time somebody come here, they listen to you.
That's awesome to hear. I'm glad that I was actually worth something on the show.
Yes, people wanted you to come back, and I was like, got to give the people what they want, you know. So
I'm glad to be back.
yes. Well, since you are here, I think we left off from the graduation. You know, we're just doing a little something different. You know, we're gonna ask you about your graduation of AIT and everything expected of AIT, and now just what you're doing now, and basically a little bit different of changing it up as what like a reverse interview for me. You know.
All right, yeah. I think last time we finished off with BCT and everything, and kind of got into a little bit of AIT and the beautiful chaos that is.
Yeah.
But let's flip the script and let's ask you some questions.
Okay.
All right. So I know last time you asked me why I joined, but why did you join? What was the driving force or forces that made you want to join? And at what age did you join?
Well, I joined at age 28, at a later age than, you know, most people. I think I was 27, then my birthday was 28. Either way, I joined later, and the reason why I joined it later because, like I said in the previous interview, that I didn't take it serious when I should have took it serious, and I should have did it when I was 18, vice versa. To what's that? To 28. You know, that's the only regret I have to myself is not taking it serious.
Not starting earlier?
Yes, if I would have started earlier, I could have retired, you know, about 36. I could have been good. I could have been done and things like that. But now, since I'm not, you know, I'm going to hopefully retire by the age of 46. You know, still give me a little bit of good time and things like that. But
absolutely,
that's also deciding factor of if I am going to do the 20-year plan versus the 10-year plan because of my age, you know.
Absolutely, I understand that one. I hit my had my 24th birthday while we were there at BCT, and I will possibly have my 25th while I'm here in training still. So I get that. What was the driving force to you joining? What made you finally decide, hey, this is something I need to do and something I want to do?
Well, one, the economy, like that wasn't too good, and knowing that you could be in the military and constantly have a steady paycheck, decent benefits, then the thing about rent, I don't have to worry about rent too much because
Yes.
the military will pay for everything. They'll get as long as you do what you're supposed to do, they'll take care of you.
Absolutely. Whether you're in the barracks or married and outside of the barracks, in the barracks, that's, you don't have to worry about rent right there. It's taken care of. And being married, you get that BAH and you never see that money because it automatically comes out. I
Yeah.
definitely understand that stability factor.
hmm
So,
So that's the
and
main reason why I did it.
absolutely understandable. Um, is there anything else now that you've been in for quite a while? Both of us are approaching our year. Um, Anything else that is driving you to want to stay and potentially do that 20 years? Is there a new driving force other than, hey, this stability seems pretty great?
Well, the main focus in I will stay to do the whole 20 and get it over with. As
Mhm.
is once do the officer route first, and also staying in better shape. Because I don't know
Yes.
if you know our first sergeant, he looked a little bit older, but he was in his 30s.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody thought he was in his 50s, but he wasn't. He was just in a good
Yeah.
shape, and that's the only thing that I that's good about active duty is no matter what, the only thing you're doing is constantly go do your job and work out. See, vice versa, being in the National Guard, you are subject to do your own PT. It's all on you. You know,
Absolutely.
and that's what I'm
And
having to struggle with because
yes.
I'm in the place where I'm by myself, and I'd rather have that little team structure. Hey, let's go to the gym. Let's do a goal. Let's do a little run. I would like to do that.
Absolutely. That's, I struggle with that self motivation, that self PT as well. And it's always great when you can find, being on the enlisted side, you can always find that person that wants to go to the gym. And you're like, you know what? Bet, let's go.
Mhm.
And even if you're not at the same level as they are, you have that person that can help you and guide you. But
Mhm.
definitely understand that. And I feel like this enlisted side, we have, like, I know like Nat Guard is enlisted, but we're active all the time.
Yeah.
And we have that team with us at all times. Unlike Nat Guard, you're kind of subject to your own devices
Mhm.
until it comes time for you to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we talked a lot about BCT last time.
Mhm.
So let's move it a little bit forward and let's talk about AIT. Your time in AIT. What's your MOS? What do you do?
Well, I'm a 91 Bravo. That's a vehicle mechanic.
Okay, yeah.
Basically, basically on the outside world, it's a diesel mechanic. That's basically what it is.
I'm
But for
jealous.
military vehicles,
I'm a wee bit jealous there.
I mean, it's a 13-week AIT or 12-week AIT. But they said when we was getting there, that they're going to start doing a 13-week AIT,
Hmm.
is because they got new military vehicles. They phasing out the Humvees.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they phased.
Yeah, so
That's
you got to
strange.
kind of change
To
that POI and
Yeah,
yes.
that's crazy. Yeah, they straight they tr- when they told us that they was changing out the Humvees, I was like, y'all had the Humvees for almost since almost
Forever.
World War I. Vietnam. I mean, before Vietnam, World War I and before. Y'all had the
Yeah, we've
Humvees
had those
forever.
forever.
So they got some new vehicles coming
It's really
in called the
cool.
JLTV. They are really nice, very
Hmm.
nice. You
That's
you
really
got to look.
interesting.
Yes, you got to look into them.
Yeah. So how do you like that? You said it's what, 91 Bravo, the
Yes.
wheeled vehicle mechanic. How do you like
Yeah.
that?
Um, how can I say? Well, like I said before, I can't really give you a good answer on that because
Hasn't
I'm
been
in the
long enough.
National Guard, and I wouldn't
Yeah.
be getting the full experience like I would if I was in a um if I was in the active duty side.
Absolutely. So what? Because you don't have that, full experience yet. You haven't had a whole lot of time getting to do that.
Hmm.
Um, what was your AIT like? What was your What was your initial reaction like when you first got there, leading through your first days, and what was your daily schedule like?
Oh well, when I first got there, well, actually, my sister drove me, so
Oh, very
it was
nice.
yeah. After what we left after graduation, we had to
Yeah.
report the
December
next day,
18th
the day after.
through January
Huh?
2nd. About January
Yeah,
2nd, roughly.
yeah. So my sister drove me, and that was good, And as soon as we got there, we had a designated drop off where he was POVing. So
Okay.
my sisters was hearing everybody getting smoked. I was like, damn, y'all just graduated, y'all already getting smoked. I was like, yeah, that's trade out for you. And
Yup.
so I had brung my bags and stuff, and they was yelling at us and shit like that.
So you
And
got shark attack again.
yes, I don't understand why we had to do the shark. Well, I seen it on the videos, but some AITs didn't do the shark attack. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
mine we didn't. The one that I'm currently at, we didn't do it. The one that I'm getting ready to go to, they do it. So that'll ought to be interesting. And then I have to quarantine, so that'll be
for real.
interesting. Yeah, I'm coming out of Arizona, so we're kind of a red state right now. So they
Yeah.
all just kind of assume that we have the Rona, and
Hmm.
they're like, "Yeah, no, we're gonna keep a 10-foot pole between you and everybody else."
Yeah.
So yeah.
So,
But what was your day to day like there in AIT? What was your daily schedule? What were things like?
well, the thing was AIT was like, cause we was hold on, we was switching over from what summer schedule to winter schedule.
Ooh,
And this is what it was like. So, because I had night classes,
yeah,
so let's change it back. Let's see where we could start off. So first formation is probably like 11. Um,
about
and then we
2300.
have then we have lunch around noon,
Oh,
and
okay.
then we have um, mail call at 1300, and then we
Mhm.
have late dinner chow at what 6, and our classroom schedules like from 8 to 2. So we was at
Oh,
class
okay.
at night at 8 to 2, and after 2 we go to do PT from
Mhm.
like 2:30 to like 3:45.
All right,
And
that's not too terrible. We
yeah.
have a similar schedule here. We actually have three different schedules. We have our days, our swings, and our nights.
Hmm.
Um, I couldn't even tell you what the schedule is anymore right now
Hmm.
because everything just changed due to monsoon season. So in order
Yeah.
for everybody to get their flights in, the schedule's got to change to accommodate weather, and it's insane, yeah. But it's a similar. Our night shift has a similar schedule to that, and but
So you say you was changing MOSs?
yes, I am changing out of 15 whiskey, and I'm going to 92 Fox.
Why are you changing?
So I think we touched on it a little bit last time about the up slips and down slips.
Hmm.
Um, in regards to that, so your up slip is in that basically details showing that you're in condition to be flight status and operate the aircraft,
Hmm.
that you're not on any kind of medications that could potentially affect your flight or
Hmm.
yourself. You don't have an injury, say like you broke your hand and you can't operate your
Hmm.
payload or anything. It's just stating that you're perfectly fine. Now, your down slip is the reverse of that. You're on some medication, you have an injury, what have you. There's something in your medical records that puts you on a down slip. And then you have a permanent downslip. Well, a permanent downslip that means once you have a permanent downslip, you're going to have to change MOS because you can no longer fly. You're no longer flight status.
Damn.
You are not allowed to operate. Yeah. So my downslip, my permanent downslip is literally for med records that are over 20 years old. And they have access to that because I've always been on Stryker. I was a dependent growing up. And then I got married to somebody in the military. So I've always been on Stryker. So there's nothing not on military record for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's that. And then there's at least one incorrect record from 2016. And all of that played into me getting a permanent downslip. So I'm now permanently downslipped and changing MOS. What was that?
How long you been at your AIT location?
Oh, I have been here since January 2nd, and it is now July 14th.
So you mean to tell me you did it for AIT for that long, and now you're going to have to do another AIT, and then possibly do like 2 to 3 more months at AIT?
Yep. I spent a total of about 38 days approximately in school here. So those days were spent in USO, which is our part 1 of 4 essentially, and is part of our first half of training. And that's where we go through and we learn about how our MOS works within the Army. We touch on kind of a little bit of the history, ever so slightly, and how important we are. So as a 15 whiskey, they're the only preventative MOS when you think about it. Everything else is reactionary. You know, the whiskeys, they are the only ones that go out there ahead of everything and find all of that enemy contact, all of the enemies, they do all of that recon, and then we place troops and things, or so they're the only precautionary MOS. So they're an extremely in-demand MOS. They deploy a lot. And then now you've got, then after that we did ground school. We did UGS, unmanned ground school. And we literally cram about a 3-month, roughly a 3-month course into 19 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So we learn all about our aircraft, how to find the center of gravity of our aircraft, depending on how it was loaded, how much weight we can handle, along with our fuel. We learn how to calculate our fuel in flight, fuel remaining, everything. I like everything. Our pitch, our yaw, our roll. We cover all of it. We go over meteorology, so we learn all about weather and weather patterns, how they affect our flight. We learn how to, when you hear this is the national emergency weather, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that is what we call a weather flimsy. It's put into simple terms where everybody can understand it. Well, we learn how to read and listen to the more complicated version of that we use in aviation. When in all reality, you'll actually pretty much always defer to the weather flimsy. But yeah, so you learn all of that. And I went through both of those courses through USO and UGS. And then we went to go to our 5-day in simulations training. And that's when I got my permanent downslip. And since then, that was back in probably March or April, approximately, that I finished with that. And so ever since then, I've just been hanging out here in holds.
Wow.
Waiting on my T-space. Yes. So now I'm going to a 92 Fox, and I'll be going to Fort Lee.
Damn.
Yeah. You learn to let the shit hit your shoulders and roll.
I feel you. I feel you on that, girl. I feel you.
I'll make 1 year. My 1 year date in service will be in TRADOC.
So did you pick your MOS or the Army said, hey, here's your new MOS?
The Army picks. So
Uh,
as a medical T space, generally we're supposed to get a I call it a dream sheet because I grew up in the Air Force and that's what it is. When you go to like PCS, you get new order, like before you get new orders and all that, you can put out a dream sheet where you pick like your top 5 stateside and your top 3 OCONUS where you want to go. So I in the same sense, it's kind of that thing. It's like a dream sheet, and that's what we're supposed to do. Is we're supposed to pick like our top like 3 to 5 MOS that's available. So
so
you
what
should
did you
get
pick?
a sheet. I didn't get to. We didn't get to. I just got told, hey, this is what your new MOS is going to be. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. I am definitely not going to lie. When we walked in there, it was the 3T spacers. We had just gotten back from doing something. We were getting ready to check mail, and all 3 of us happened to be in there. And drill sergeant, they were talking to each other, and they realize I'm in there, and they go, oh, Smith, 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 Smith. And I'm automatically going, oh, God, what did I do to get in trouble? Right?
Yeah.
My automatic reaction is, shit, I did something. Here comes the smoke. And so my other DS is like, hey, your orders just came down. And I went, oh, okay, cool. And he goes, my new orders to my new duty station for AIT. And I'm just like, what? What? No. Oh, God. And they see my eyes grow real wide, like, oh, no. And my drill sergeant, he sits there and he goes, yeah, you're a 92 Fox. He's like, you're a fueler. And I just kind of deadpan look at him and I go, no. like not even like just this really like sad, depressed, no. No.
So how long is your AIT going to be?
It's approximately 10 or 11 weeks. I should graduate sometime in October is what they say, unless I get amended orders.
Damn, for fuel, it shouldn't even take that long. All you're doing is loading up the fuel and putting it in the damn vehicle. That should be like
it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more. We are working with a hazardous material, so we have to, it's highly flammable. So we have to learn about the safety with that and what vehicles get what fuel and that kind of thing, because, there's, we have aviation. In aviation, there's a different fuel that's used. We use, what is it, 100 low lead or whatever, and something else we use. So, like, all the different vehicles take different fuels. Aviation uses a different fuel. So we have to learn things like that. So it makes sense that it takes a little while because you have to learn the safety and you have to learn about, the proper fuel for the proper vehicle, all that. But, it's not too bad. It's just like another BCT in length, really. But yeah, I sat there and I went, no. and,
wow.
and I was like,
so you're going to be in the quartermaster side.
Oh, God. I could end up in there or I can get attached to aviation, So it really just depends.
Okay. So are you active, right?
Yes.
Okay. So for your dream sheet of where you want to go shipped off to, where do you want to be?
Oh, man. So I would honestly be pleased with anywhere in Europe. I'd prefer somewhere in Germany just because Germany has always kind of been that place that calls to me as home. I'm only like a 4th or 5th generation American on, my mom's side. And so Germany's always called to me as home in a way. So I would really like to go back and see where my family lived and where I still have family. I would love to see friends that I grew up with. I had exchange students that I hosted. I would love to see them again. So I'd like to go there. I wouldn't mind. So really that's my biggest OCONUS is just Germany or really anywhere in Europe. And then stateside, I would love to get stationed out at JBLM because that puts me close to my family. I love the Pacific Northwest. I miss it. Puts me close to my daughter. But I would
Hey,
also
where's
like
that?
JBLM. That's out in Tacoma, Washington. And
Oh, okay.
yeah, Fort Lewis. It's Joint Base Lewis McChord. And
Okay.
I would love it out there just because the Pacific Northwest is amazing. I love it. And then also Fort Carson in Colorado Springs, Colorado. I would really like that. That again puts me close to home. It puts me close to where I spent most of my life. Even though I was a military brat, most of my time was spent out in Wyoming, up at F.E. Warren Air Force Base. So that would put me close to home there, and not too terribly far either from my friends that are out in at Fort Riley in Kansas. So it'd be nice to be there. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I would kind of mind, but I wouldn't mind Fort Riley just because I have a lot of family or friends out there. I'd be okay with Fort Drum. Everybody's like, oh, it's
New
so
York.
cold.
No,
Everybody's like,
don't do
oh,
it.
it's so cold. I was like, no, it's not that bad. But I have a
Don't do it.
ton of friends out there too. And also Fort Stewart because of friends again. So, you know, I have a lot of friends in the aviation world now.
Yeah.
But yeah, those would be my main places I'd really like to go. My biggest though overall is Germany. I would kill to go to Germany. I want to get my German back. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Okay, I see you. I see you.
I'm really losing my German. I'm really losing it. It's been a while.
Once you get here by the end of the year, it's like you never left.
Exactly. I'm hoping. If I go over there, it'll be like my German never left, and it'll be even better than before. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm trying to just kind of keep a positive, kind of a positive mindset about everything, because obviously 92 Fox isn't what I initially chose. Definitely isn't really what I wanted. I will admit I did kind of cry when Drill Sergeant told me. I looked at Drill Sergeant. I was like, I'm gonna cry, Drill Sergeant. He's like, you'll be okay. And he's like, you could always switch with one of the other people here that's T-spacing. I was like, I think I might be okay. He's like, it's 13 Bravo. I was like, cannon crew member? Hell no, Drill Sergeant. My filter turned off. I was like, Drill Sergeant, hell no. Like, there's no way in hell. He's like, yeah, I didn't think so.
Wow.
So I was like, yeah, that's what my husband was. I'm good. No, thank you.
Your husband was a fueler also?
No, he was a 13 Bravo.
13
And that was my other option, was 13 Bravo. And I went, nope, cannon crew? Hell no. No, thank you. I'm good. Yeah. I don't want to be field artillery, let alone or combat arms. So
how was your whole, so what that means, so you won't be necessarily, you would probably be going the same week as somebody would go as if they just got out of basic training, or you will be going as like middle of the week and add into the class.
I'll be going middle of the week, and then I'm supposed to be. I should be out of here hopefully sometime next week, but unless I get amended orders. Otherwise, amended orders. So right now, because of Corona, basically everybody's getting their orders amended, which is stating that instead of this and this report date, that they will be reporting at a later time due to Corona and having to either be A, on a sanitized flight, or B, because we are coming out of a red state, that they're limiting our movement on and off post. So right now we're on a restricted post, which means there's no movement off post unless we get a what is it? ETP, exception to policy. And that has to go all the way up through our post commander and everything. So everything, any kind of movement to post or from post in regards to PSCSing or those of us T-spacing, it has to go all the way up through our post commander and be approved.
So why don't they just give you another MOS that you're already there from?
Because that would be too easy. It's the Army. We don't do anything easy.
True. That would have been so
And
easy.
exactly. You know, I was hoping because, like, on the aviation side, we have our operators, but we have our maintainers as well that are the 15 series. So I was hoping to maybe teach them over there because I don't need it.
Operator, what's that MOS?
For the maintainers,
No, for the
that's going to
drone
be your.
operator.
Oh, the operator? Oh, it's not a drone, it's a UAS. But for operators, it's 15 whiskey, but they actually just started splitting the MOS. So when you join, you will now know exactly what platform you are joining for. Whereas before, we used to just get categorized into a platform. You'd go through USO and UGS, and at the end of ground school, you'd get randomized into whether you were going to be a Gray Eagle operator or a Shadow operator. So our larger and smaller platforms. So now, and that it used to just be 15 whiskey no matter what. Now we have, I think it's whiskeys and Charlies. And so whiskey is remaining as our smaller operator, this for the smaller aircraft, which is actually more complicated to fly than our larger aircraft, apparently. And then you have the Charlies that are our larger aircraft.
You know, it would have been decent if it was 42 Alpha.
Ugh, I would have liked that better. Not gonna lie. But yeah, so you've got 15 whiskeys and Charlies now, which are our operators for the UAS. It is not a drone. Okay, technically it's a drone, but it is not a drone. We don't use drone as a word. It is a RPA. It's a remotely piloted aircraft. It brings more professionalism into it, especially considering that this is a multi-million-dollar aircraft. And it's not the same as your little quadcopter that you fly in your backyard. That this actually takes, you know, a lot of schooling to understand and be allowed to operate. It takes months. You know, a lot of us are here for close to a year. Some of us have been here for over a year, year and a half. So we don't call them drones, they're UAS. So the aircraft itself is a UAV. It's an unmanned aerial vehicle. And then the UAS is the whole system. It's a unmanned aerial system because that then includes our aircraft, our payload, the operator, all of the other equipment that is involved in getting our bird up in the air and keeping it up there, communicating with it back and forth, and all of the relays there, all of the telemetry. So, like for those that sit there and go, "Oh, it's a drone operator." No, it's not a drone operator. That is not what we are. That's not what we do. We are remote pilots. It is a remotely piloted aircraft. You'll for those that are listening, if they ever, you know, they go into 15 whiskey and everything, you'll get dropped. You'll get dropped for that one, calling it a drone. It grinds on everybody's gears.
Yeah, sounds like it does.
But I never thought it would grind on my gears, but it has started to after, 7 months.
Yeah. How so?
It just does. Like, you get so used to it. And then once you have it explained to you that, it's more than that little quadcopter or whatever the hell that you fly in your backyard, that, it's more than that. We fly at a much higher altitude. We have to know, we end up instrument flight rated and what is it? It's IFR, which is instrument flight, and then VFR, visual flight. We're rated for that, and then we have to learn about airspace. So everybody kind of thinks about, like everybody's kind of flying around up there, tower tells them where to fly, all that. Well, there's actually classes of airspace. You know,
What's the classes?
off the top of my head, crap. But you've got Echo. So I think it's Echo airspace is the only airspace that's completely unregulated that tower doesn't even bother with, and that is, you know, from the ground to a certain distance. You're not required to have your radio, any of that. It's the most dangerous airspace to be in because it's uncontrolled airspace. So when you think of that, think of like a uncontrolled intersection. So an uncontrolled intersection, you're kind of supposed to treat as a four-way stop. It's not, it's chaos. That's kind of what's going on in that lowest airspace. Then you have different other airspace. You have restricted airspace. So there's certain areas that you can't fly in. You've got certain requirements. You have to have, you know, your radio, this, that, the other different pieces of equipment are required, your transponder, at different altitudes and different airspaces. You know, you're only allowed to fly so fast in certain airspaces. You know, so there's all of that you have to learn. You have to learn about the weather and the way it affects your flight. You have to find your cloud base, so you learn how to do that. And essentially with our job, you know, we learn all that, learn all about, you know, the clouds and everything. But essentially our job is stay away from the clouds. Don't fly into the clouds. Don't fly near the clouds. Just stay away from the clouds. So, yeah, like there's a lot more that goes into it. And once you learn just how much goes into it, you kind of do start to differentiate between the UAS and UAV with your generic backyard drone. Because your backyard drone, you pick up a little RC controller and you're doing your thing, or some of them are cool and they have a tablet, all of that. Like they're, you know, and you just kind of go and you do your thing. Whereas with ours, there's a lot more we have to know and do, and we have restrictions to being able to get up in the air, and you know, we have to communicate with tower. We have to call in, you know, let's see, Libby flight. This is Striker 1-1 requesting 5,000 feet at. Requesting north range at 5,000 feet, whatever, you know, like, and we have to communicate and we're talking. And then, so we're not only in contact with tower, so like you talk to tower at least once every hour. Like you're always talking to tower, communicating back and forth. And while you're communicating to tower, you're also listening to your crew chief, your payload operator. If you're the one who's in the AO, who's the aircraft operator, your payload operator, your crew chief, all of that. You've got everybody else going on in there, your air crew, and then you also have your weather, your weather services playing, and you have to listen to that, and you have to copy that down and pay attention to it. And when you're coming back to tower and requesting to land, you know, you're requesting such and such, you know, Libby flight, this is Striker 1-1 requesting, you know, touchdown, whatever. I don't remember exactly how our radio calls go because I don't need to know them anymore. But you know, so they tell you all about that. You have to know, you know, they tell you, oh, you're going to be left traffic, and usually everything's left traffic. Occasionally some airports are right traffic, but most of the time you're going to be left traffic. They're going to request you to hold. So you're just going to keep going around in your circle, burning a hole in the sky until you're allowed to land, you know. And then they'll tell you what runway to land on, which way to taxi, where you're taxiing to, all your connections with your taxiing. You learn all about the different markings on the taxiway. So when you've flown and you see all these markings on the airstrip when you're coming into the airport, all of those mean something. And you have to know what they mean because of safety. Some of them designate that you can't land in this zone anymore. This is your safe landing zone. Oh, and this marking shows that at the end of this runway, it is a crush strip or whatever, so it crushes underweight as like an emergency thing that, if you need to pull off like emergency, it'll go. But not all of them have it. Some of them are they show and tell you that they're a shorter than normal landing strip that, like you only have so a certain distance, and some of them designate that, oh, at the end of this, it's a cliff, So, yeah, like there's a lot that actually goes into it, and I'm surprised at how much I actually remember from doing all of this almost, 5 months ago. But yeah, so it grinds on my gears now when people call it a drone, because it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
A drone is a backyard toy.
Yeah.
This is a multi-million-dollar aircraft that we actually have to know actual flight information. We have to know about the weather. We have to know minor meteorology. We have to know basic aviation. And so, yeah, I never thought it would grind on my gears, but it sure does now.
So, now that you're leaving and things like that, did you meet any good battle buddies?
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of people that you and I came from basic. A lot of them came here.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of them are already gone. They've graduated and they're out of here and they're out doing what they do. One of them, he ended up out on a rotation down at the border and was flying down there and helping out. And then a couple of them graduated. They went home. They didn't fly, but they actually got placed to assist with the riots that were going on.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, all three of them were really great battles of mine. You had Peyton, who went out, and Murray. You had Ricka.
Mm-hmm.
Ricka is a sweetheart. Johnson, she wasn't here, but she ended up going out helping with the riots as well, as a Nat Guard. And so it was, yeah. But I made some really amazing battles here, some amazing friendships that I will never forget. We had the 4 Horsemen of Chaos is what we were. So you had Ricka, who you and I went to BCT with, but then there was 2 others that I met while I was here. I had Terry, who she just recently graduated and she's in Korea. Yeah, I met her on day 1 here, and I was going to be her suite mate, and somebody introduced me to her or whatever, and she goes, oh, yeah, hi, I'm Terry. I'm a bitch, and you're probably not going to like me. And I go, oh, that's okay. And I go, oh, that's okay. I am too. It's probably not that you're a bitch, but that you're a strong leader and people don't like it. We're probably going to be best friends. And from there, we just, we hit it off and we were great friends. She's my girl and I love her to pieces. I miss her a lot, but I'm really proud of her. And she just got out of quarantine recently there in Korea, because coming from here, she had to quarantine. Coming from another country, she had to quarantine even as well. But yeah, there was her and Ricka, myself, and then you had Watson, who I met within the first couple of days, about within my first 72 hours, I think. And I tell you, this girl, she's something, and I love her to pieces.
I gotta meet her again.
She's amazing. She's in Hawaii now, and
what?
Yep, she's on quarantine in Hawaii.
I want to go to Hawaii. No.
Yes.
No.
Oh yeah. So the class ahead of me, like the class that I was supposed to be in, pretty much all of them got orders to Germany. The class after that, or like, so the class ahead of, no, it was the class ahead of them. I think they all got orders. It was a 50-50 is what it was actually. So like one class that they all graduated within a short period of time. One class they went and they got Germany pretty much, and then a whole bunch of them got Hawaii. Basically, both the classes ended up all OCONUS, Hawaii, Germany, Alaska. Yeah. So, and then a lot of us are stateside. So it was basically like, oh, well, we have a whole bunch of slots open for OCONUS right now. So
You
all
know
of you
why
are
they
going
have
to
slots open now? Because remember, everything was on hold.
Oh, no.
So remember, people that was leaving those months now left, and now they got a whole flood to fill.
Exactly. It's that Rona.
Shit.
But yeah, so those were my girls, and now all three of them are gone. They were kind of my people that I hung out with from start to finish, and they're all gone. So it kind of sucks once they go, because especially in the TRADOC environment where you have to have battle buddies for everything.
Even
don't
at my
really have
unit,
battle
we still
buddies.
do battle buddy thing.
Oh yeah, but it's not required at all times, no matter what you do. Whereas in TRADOC, it's at all freaking times. And so it kind of, but Grim was here, and that was great. And yeah, Grim, she's an operator. She was amazing. She was so much fun. We went out hiking and just looked down around where we were at from mountains, and it was amazing. And she was my girl, and she left, and then Rika, and then Terry, and then Watson, and I was like, man, I'm out of people. A lot of everybody who came here, they're gone now because they were on our smaller platform. It's a shorter training period. There's some of them that are still here. Johnson, Sturdivant, he's still here. Arroyo, so there's a lot of them that are still here. Knowles, the one who does an amazing impression of Drill Sergeant Norris.
Okay.
He's here, or he may have finally left. I'm not real sure. I haven't seen him lately because they're on opposing shifts as I am. But so, there's still some of them here because they're on the larger aircraft and the longer training. But it's pretty amazing. It's the battles that you make, especially when you're in a training environment for this long with the same people. You build some really strong friendships. You're going through some dumb shit all the time. Today was spectacularly dumb. It was wonderful. I am tired of babysitting people. We'll put it that way. But yeah, the friendships you make, especially no matter what in the military, are just different than the ones that you make in the civilian world.
Yeah, because it's actually worse out there.
Exactly. And we all have something different that we went through. We all came from somewhere different, but we are going through this thing that's different than what anybody else in the world is, in the nation's going to go through. And it binds us together. You join, you come from all these places, and oh, I'm from a Hispanic culture and town and everything, so this is the way we do things. Or oh, I'm from I don't know, the South, and this is the way we do things. Or whatever. So and you all come from these different places, and you have these different experiences that shaped you, who you are, and the way you perceive the world around you. And then you come here to the Army, and nobody gives a shit. None of us. We don't give a what color you are. We don't care what your sexuality is. We don't care what your gender is. At the end of the day, we just care so long as you can get the job done. Nobody truly and honestly cares.
At the end of the day, we're all shit.
Yep. At the end of the day, as my roommate said, at the end of the day, we're all shit.
Where's she at? Bring her on.
She just got back in here. Come here, Burns.
Oh yeah, turn on the camera so the audience can see. Because I had some questions for you too.
Oh, you got some questions.
Here she go. Bring up a chair. Bring up and break open the coat.
I gotta go work out.
Yeah, we both look pretty poor because she's getting ready to go work out. Just finished the day. I worked out rather recently, and so yeah.
So tell the audience what's your name, what's your MOS.
Well, right now I'm a 15 whiskey. I just graduated June 25th, and I'm a shadow.
Yeah, when she says she's a shadow, she's a shadow operator. That's our smaller aircraft system.
Okay. Was you
And
the person that's going to airborne school?
yes, and so I start airborne school the 19th, and I leave in
The day after tomorrow.
Yeah, the day after tomorrow.
You leaving in 2 days? Wow.
Yeah, she kind of
So-
got the absolute notice. I think it was today that, hey, for certain,
Yeah.
you're out of here. So
that's a good thing. I heard they're not doing PTs and like runs and stuff like that. So the only thing you're doing is going there and you just jumping out of a plane. So that's a good thing.
Yep.
I should have did that now because when I went to MEPS, I was offered the airborne contract. But then I came back again. They said they didn't have any. I was like, how y'all don't have any? But okay. So how did the airborne contract work for you? How did you know about that?
So it was crazy story. When I first started, like when I went to go sign up for the Army, I was full set infantry. I want infantry. I want to do the hardest job. And I went home with, I think it was like cannon crew member.
Ooh, 13
and
Bravo.
Everyone was like, I hope you like your hearing now because you're not going to have it later.
Oh, true shit.
And
Oh, so
I
you
went back
would've
to the prison and I was like, that is not for me. And the next job that popped open that I saw with airborne, I took it. So I'm pretty much here for airborne, but.
So did they offer you a bonus because you had airborne, or did you have a bonus without it?
No bonus.
Damn.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, now there's ones of us that we come in and we're option 40, which means we chose to go airborne. Then later on, there's a lot of us that choose to volunteer. And some of us get voluntold that, hey, you're going airborne. So yeah.
Explain to me what is airborne, what it's about, and what do you do?
So I'm not too sure yet. All I know is that we get there and it's training to land, and then the next week we jump out the plane, and then we get sent off to our unit. Yeah.
So, and what we what they do as operators within airborne is a little bit different than your regular airborne, because they get that qualification, but that's not what they're always doing. You know, they're still going to be predominantly a operator, and but they're jump qualified, and they have to get so many jumps so often to remain jump qualified as well.
Right. So we do get paid more every month.
Yeah, you get
because
that
we are
additional
airborne.
It's only what, $250?
Yeah, it's probably like.
It's better than nothing. I mean, I understand, but that 250 does adds up. Also, is it true that if you like in the airborne, or if you become a drill sergeant or a recruiter, that puts you in the highest status of your peers? Is that true?
Yes, it does put you at a higher status, and when it comes time for promotions and your promotion board, it gets you more promotion points. You're looked at as kind of a cut above the rest, especially when you have those tabs. So say you have the Ranger tab or the scroll, you've got your airborne, all of that. Even college puts you a cut above the rest. Everything is worth some sort of points.
Okay, so you recommend somebody going to like airborne or air assault?
Not necessarily, but because everything is kind of a personal what's going to work for you, but always be pushing further and harder to push higher. The goal is to always go higher, climb that ladder. You want to be promotable, and you want to look the best you possibly can on paper as well. So get that college in, because that's worth points. Get all those extra schools. Whenever there's an opportunity thrown at you, don't throw that opportunity out. Take the opportunity, because maybe it turns out to be a shit assignment and it fucking sucked, but guess what? You probably learned something from it, and there was something good to take from it. You never close those doors.
Okay.
Because even though it might suck now, later down the road, that one door that you took it might lead to some great opportunity down the road. Maybe some special, really cool assignment, say overseas. You might get selected for it because you took that one opportunity. You never know where all these opportunities are going to take you. And no matter what, take it. So what? It sucked. You embraced the suck, you got through it, and you learned something new probably. Maybe the best part, honestly, was just meeting new people and hanging out, having a great time, maybe getting shit-faced. Who knows? And maybe the best part was actually learning a new skill, or maybe you made new contacts with some pretty cool people. And, you know, you never know precisely where it's going to take you. Always be striving to learn more, do more, and go further. You know, pick the brains of your peers, pick the brains of those that are above you. You know, I adore Burns, you know. I've even picked Burns' mind because Burns has this really good way to, even if she's stressed out, you know, she might come down here in the room and be like, oh my God, and like let it all out. But she's able to put that cool, calm exterior on and get where she needs to go. And it's like, all right, I need to pick Burns' head because sometimes I am an absolute like neurotic hamster. Like, it's bad. And Burns is laughing because she's like, it's true. She's so neurotic.
So Burns, what you trying to get out of the military? And how long did you sign your contract for? Like your overall contract?
Okay, so I signed my contract for 6 years. Not necessarily regretting it at all because I plan on going to college while I'm in the military, getting like the full use out of it. I've heard a lot of people tell me who were previous military, take the military to your full advantage. Absolutely. Get education out of it. Do everything that like they let you do.
Work that system.
So basically, I came out of high school knowing I wanted to come into the military, and I was going to go to college while I was here. So that was my overall plan. Overall, I'm just trying to like make myself a better person. Like that was my whole point of going in the military. Like makes myself something, you know.
Okay. So are you going to go the officer route, or you're just chilling for now?
I don't know about the officer route so far. I do plan on getting my bachelor's degree in business while I'm here. I'm already going airborne, so that was part of my plan because I always wanted to be airborne. And then because I'm an airborne, I've been assigned to a special forces unit, so I'm pretty excited about that. So. Okay,
so are you going to re-enlist, or are you going to just do your 6 years and get out?
It's hard for me to plan that far ahead. I do know I want to complete my education before I leave. And if it's not there, I might re-enlist. It really just depends where I'm at in 6 years.
Okay.
By 6 years, you're probably going to be back up here at the schoolhouse even teaching possibly.
Yeah, you probably will be teaching.
And yeah, like, so within the 15 series, so aviation is really small as a whole, but UAS is an even smaller world within aviation. Like, it is one of the smallest in the Army. Like, they're their own little special world, and there's so few operators and maintainers that within a couple of years, by the time they make sergeant, which you'll probably make sergeant within the next, 2-3 years, if that?
Yeah, probably.
And
so what's your rank now?
Right now I'm a PB2.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you rank really quick in aviation.
Okay.
No. But yeah, within literally in the next 2-3 years, she could end up back here at Fort Huachuca as an instructor. You think you get away from here, and you never really do. All of our instructors have said that. Yeah. You think you got away. Nope.
But they pull you right back.
Coming right back, and you're going to be teaching. So
how do you feel about Smith leaving you? Well, how y'all feel about each other leaving each other, and did y'all build a special friendship between y'all two?
We did definitely build a friendship while we were in here.
We didn't really know who each other was for the longest time, and then we ended up, we knew of each other but not really knew each other, and then we ended up as roommates, and we kind of built a really unique and special friendship. And I wouldn't say that we're shitbags, but we call each other probably our shitbag buddies. you know, everybody's a little bit of a shitbag at some point for some reason. And so we joke that we're shitbag buddies. But, you know, she's my girl, you know. When I found out about what MOS I was going into and I was really kind of struggling with accepting it, you know, I just walked over to the other side of the room and I went, Burns, can I have a hug, you know? And there's not really anybody else here that I would be comfortable doing that with, you know. Burns is my girl, you know. She's unique. There's never a dull moment in this room.
Never a dull moment.
Never. Largely because of her, but.
Wow. Okay. So keeping the good relationship, you know, that's a good thing. So are we going to do a barracks tour?
Oh, yeah. Here, let me disconnect you from the truck.
If it's reasonable, I don't want to, you know.
I'm going to hand you to Burns real quick because I got to get up. I've been doing this whole interview chilling on my bed. And,
let me push in your chair for you.
Yeah. Yeah, so my side looks kind of like hell right now, but we'll flip the camera around, or I'll try to. I'm retarded, so bear with me. Okay, I don't know how to flip it around, but so like we'll start. Here's, you know, our doorway in, and you know, immediately to our right is our bathroom that is shared with the suite next door.
Okay, yeah, shared. Okay.
Yeah, and then you kind of
You're
come in.
You're gonna love it at Fort Lee because you only share it with the person, your roommate.
Oh wow. Yeah, so then you kind of come in here and you have kind of our separate sink and everything. You see most of my shit kind of hanging around on here. I kind of kidnapped all the hooks. All these hooks aren't normally in here. Whoever was in here before us put them in. But you've got the split built-in closets. These are our SOP lockers where our stuff has to be SOP in here.
Okay. Then you're gonna do that when you get to Fort. You're gonna do that when you do. You're gonna do that when you get to Fort Lee.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere. My stuff's not. Neither of our stuff is really SOP right now because we're both in the middle of packing and cleaning and everything else. And then you've got, you know, our personal desk. Yeah, so you're allowed one TV per person in the room. So we have 2 TVs in here. Because I'm a phase 5, she's a 5+. So at 5 we got all of our electronics, our civilian wear. Yeah. But
ooh, take your phase 5 card with you. Take it
what
with
was that?
you. Take your phase 5 card with you.
I cannot. I have to turn it in.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I would have stuck that.
Yeah, I'm the first phase 5 card. I'm 001. Woot woot. Like that's something awesome here, I guess. People are like, oh my God, you're 001. I was like, I was literally just the first one in line to turn in my old card and like get the new one, but okay. Yeah, so my stuff's kind of a mess right now. You've got all of my pictures, my, you know, makeup mirror and all that. You got, you know, my little daughter here and my painting that one of my other friends did for me, my TV. So because the new change in the smoking age and everything, everybody keeps their vapes over on my desk. Because I'm over 21. But yeah, we've got our box fans in here because our AC has been broken, and so it's been hot as hell. So this isn't a normal setup for the room, having this, our wall of shame is what people call it. We call it the privacy wall. Typically your room's supposed to be arranged differently, but we kind of just do what we want anyhow. My bed is a mess. I have a bunch of stuffed animals because all my friends love me. And for some reason, I have a bunch of stuffed animals. That is a 4-foot unicorn. Don't mind my 4-foot unicorn. But yeah, so then, you know, we've got carpeting, whatever we want, you know. We have lights hanging up. Oh God, my closet's a mess right now too because I had to rearrange everything. But, you know, we have our personal closet with our stuff in it. It's got a thing up here. We have to have our shoes arranged under our bed properly. Mine are everywhere right now. Everything's kind of everywhere right now. Burns' boxes, but then you kind of come over here to the other side of our wall of shame. And you got Burns' side. She's got the windows and the AC that doesn't work. Her TV that used to be on a stand, no longer on a stand. Her desk, it's completely cleared off because she's leaving before I am. She's a 5+, which means we can have food in our room. So, oh God, the snack cabinet has dwindled, but we have, our snack cabinet and everything. So it's not too terrible. The bathroom is just a dual shower. There's 2 showers in there, and the toilet. Our side's cooler than their side because, well, our shower curtain lights up. But yeah, so that's essentially what our barracks room is like. I'm not in full uniform, so I can't leave my room. But that is, down the hallway. There's all these other rooms, and then our emergency exit to out back. But yeah, it's not too terrible overall. It's fun. Okay. Our fridge is stocked.
Well, I got one more question for you and Burns before I get off here. And if she has any questions for me, I answer any questions. So now that you're going to go to airborne school and both of y'all going to do your little careers after trade up, what do y'all see yourself later on? More kids?
Yeah, so, you kind of, starting out, you never really know exactly how far you want to take this, because especially when you've been in trade-off for close to a year, you kind of start going, oh God, what did I get myself into? Is this really what I want to do? You start really questioning it. But honestly, I think both of us, by the end of our contract, both of us see, at least 1 or 2 promotions in there. Burns probably definitely hitting sergeant. Me, potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think we just look forward to becoming better soldiers and leaders in our career and just becoming overall better people, just the different opportunities and taking those opportunities that come to us. I think that's really the best way to explain that. We don't know where it's going to go. We don't know where it's going to take us. And in this odd little world called aviation, you learn to just kind of take it as it comes. So you learn to not plan too far into the future. And that's kind of what we have come to do, So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm definitely going to do 20, or I'm going to at least shoot for 15. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to go the enlisted route. And then after I get, my first contract done enlisted, I'm going to drop my packet to go warrant, blah, blah, blah. And there's people here that have that, that mindset that they've got it all down pat. But a lot of us are just like, let the world take us where it takes us, Okay. So.
What about you?
Yeah, I really don't have a set path, to be honest. I'm just kind of going with the flow. A lot of the Army is moving around. Absolutely. You definitely can't really choose. The Army puts you where you want to be, and I've definitely accepted that. And that was honestly part of the goal. When I left home, I was ready to go. I was ready to go see new places, and I've definitely been new places. Since I left home, which is North Carolina for me, I went to South Carolina. That was the longest I had ever been away from home when I was in basic training. It was rough, especially because it was basic training.
Now it's been about 6 months.
I was flown all the way across the country over to Arizona, and I've been living here for even longer than I've ever been away from home. Yeah. So it's definitely been an adventure. After this, I'll go to Georgia, and then from Georgia, after airborne, I'm going to go all the way to Washington. So it's definitely...
Are you stationed in Washington?
What's that?
Are you stationed in Washington?
Yes. And I'm very excited. There should be a lot of good things there. I've heard there's a lot of activities, hiking, snorkeling. I'm very excited.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Do you have any questions for me?
Were you?
He's not guard.
Oh, okay. So where did you go to basic?
Hey, Fort Jackson also.
Yeah, he was in the same company as me. He was. What were you? You were what? Beast mode, first platoon.
Yeah, I was in first platoon.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How was your basic training experience for you?
So I barely made it.
I feel like that was all of us in some level.
I survived though, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel like
all
I
right,
wouldn't
ladies.
survive.
Thanks for having you on part 2. You know, people did want you back on, and I'm glad to ask you some questions too, Burns. I did say I wanted to ask you some.
Thank you for
Absolutely.
having me.
Thank you so
I
much,
enjoyed it.
Burns, for
Yeah, no
joining
problem.
us
No
tonight.
fraternization, y'all. No hugging. 6 feet.
She lives with us. She lives with me. We're allowed to be a little closer.
Oh, look at that.
I mean, it's really hard to be in the room at the same time and be 6 feet apart. It's just not possible. So, but yeah, thank you so much for having me back on. It's been great as always. It's been really fun. And, you know, maybe we'll have me on one more time before I go to Fort Lee. And maybe once I'm in
Let
Fort
me know
Lee.
the day before you go to Fort Lee, so I could hit you up so we could do a prepared for a leave interview.
Okay, sounds good to me.
There you
And,
go.
you know, maybe depending on how things go there, maybe, you know, get one while I'm there. And if not, do one at the end after graduation, what it's like leaving, finally getting out of TRADOC and hitting ForceCom.
Okay.
So,
All
but
right.
thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me on and having your friend on. So, all right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm out. So have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of your night.
You too. Get some good rest because you need it. You need it.
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
All right, you too. Oh, well, that was Smith again on her time and things like that. I told you we was going to do a part 2 and things of that nature. And now that we are almost end of this stream, I want to end this with a very special thank you for her and Burns.
Walking down the street one day. Met a total stranger. He asked me what I wanted to be. I said, Airborne Ranger. Ranger. I said it in a foxhole. Sharpen in my knife. Up jumped the enemy. I had to take his life. Rangers. My body's in a foxhole. Bullet in his head. Medic says he's wounded. I know that he's dead. Rangers.